Hey guys, so today we're going to talk a little bit about navigating your psychology major. As we get started, I would like to go ahead and introduce myself where you can kind of know what perspective you're seeing. My name is Sarah Holmes, and I'm a graduate assistant at the Center for Student Success and First Year Experience. Specifically, I work with the academic support programs. I got my bachelor's in psychology and sociology in May 2020, so I am a new graduate, and I'm currently getting my master's in counselor education with an emphasis in clinical mental health counseling. And so, throughout this video, you're going to see some challenges that I, as a psychology major, faced, and some of the techniques I use to overcome some of those challenges. So, what is psychology? Psychology is the scientific study of the mind and and behavior. But it's so much more. There's so many different disciplines, from forensic psychology to the counseling part of psychology to even the research of psychology. And so, as a psychology major, you could be going into a research, you could be going into clinical side of psychology. So it really just depends on what your focus is going to be. So, what are some of the challenges that psychology majors face? Well, one of the challenges is explaining what psychology is. We all, or if you haven't yet, you will eventually get the question, well, what is psychology? Like, what are you going to do with that? And, you know, is it psychology reading minds? Is psychology counseling? And so that's one of the challenges that some psychology majors face. And I'm going to help you figure out some ways to combat that question. Another challenge that psychology majors face is the overlap of material. And we'll get a little bit more into specifics in a few slides from now. But basically, as a psychology major, you're constantly hearing a lot of the same names. So we're going to figure out how to deal with all of the overlapping material in all of your psychology classes. The next challenge is MLA format to APA format, or even Chicago format to APA. So we're going to definitely dive into how to best cope or best use APA format and how to get adjusted to it, especially when you're used to doing something like APA or Chicago. The last challenge that I, as a psychology major, faced, or the last big challenge, was what are you going to do after graduation? And so we're going to look into that as we go on and continue through these slides. Tackling these challenges. As I said at the beginning, I was the psychology major as well as the sociology major. And so these challenges are being tackled for ways that I tackled them, and also some ways that the university can help tackle those challenges as well. So, what is psychology? You're going to be asked a lot of times, can you read minds? Counsel me. I need help. Let me talk to you. Give me a diagnosis. Do you think I have this, or do you have that? Or they're going to be like, hey, my friend did this. Can you tell me why they did that? So, psychology, depending on what you're wanting to do with it, may mean a lot of different things to you. You may be interested in the research side and interested in analyzing people and analyzing their behaviors. Or you may be interested in the counseling or clinical side of things and want to learn how to be a counselor and, eventually diagnose some individuals. However, I will caution, as a psychology major, don't diagnose people or yourself. Don't try to read minds or tell people that you can, because that may freak them out a little bit. And, you know, just figure out what it is that you want to do with your psychology major yourself. And at the bottom, there is a little joke. You made a joke about me analyzing you because I study psychology. Never heard of that before. And while if you are a psychology major, or if you're watching this video, I can guarantee you at some point in your psychology major career field, or even during your academic time at Ole Miss or another university, you will face some type of joke in that way. Overlap of material. If you haven't already, when you get into your psychology courses, you're going to hear Freud, Maslow's hierarchy of need, Piaget, Vygotsky. There's a lot of different psychologists or people within the psychology realm of things that you're going to hear their names a ton. And so, one thing that you can do to combat all of this material and all of it coming together in all of your classes, read the material, write it, and then learn it. The more you learn the material and the more you read it and write it, the more you'll be able to grasp the concepts, where then, when it comes down to a final exam, you already know about Freud and his childhood. You already know about his Id, ego, and superego in Maslow's hierarchy of need. You already know those things. And all that will help you do is just grow to be a better psychology student if you learn that material well, and then it will help you in your other classes as well. MLA to APA format. One big thing to do for sure is to ask your professor what edition they would like. APA just went from the 6th edition to the 7th, so definitely make sure that you clarify with your professor on which edition they prefer. It should be APA 7th edition, but just double check with them. Another way to adjust to going from MLA or Chicago or any other type of format to APA is visit the Writing Center. The Writing Center, you can get to them by typing in writingcenter.olemiss.edu, and it'll bring you up to their form where you can make two types of appointments, either a live appointment or a correspondence appointment. And it has in more detail what each of those appointments look like, and all the different options that you can go over, whether it be brainstorming, formatting issues, or anything like that. And on the right, you can see, I don't know how to do APA format, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask. No matter if you're a freshman or a senior or even a grad student, it's never too late to ask about APA format. And so I highly recommend either asking a professor, another student, or especially the Writing Center, because they're definitely there to help and they can be a great resource, especially when writing research papers or even just any type of papers in general. What can you do with your psychology major? I've been asked this question millions of times, and every time I almost give a different answer. There are a few options though for you. You could go to grad school, or you could enter into the job search immediately following or during your senior year, or you can, like to the right, start a business, do a job search, go abroad and study things. But the biggest thing that I would recommend for you to do is to go talk to the Career Center. The Career Center is located in Martindale, which is on the University of Mississippi campus, and you can pull up their website at career.olemiss.edu. The Career Center is there to help you with figuring out, what can I do with my psychology major? What should I do if I want to go to grad school? What grad programs are available? And which ones should I best fit what I would like to do with my future career? And once you go to the Career Center website, you can schedule an appointment to meet with one of their academic advisors or career mentors, or even one of the students that work there as well. And so I highly recommend that, especially if you're trying to figure out, what is your next step? Grad school, the job search, or is it something completely different from what a psychology major would typically do? Know any psychology jokes? I'm afraid not. If you don't get that joke already, I'm sure you will by the end of your psychology journey of being a psychology major. And so I really do hope that this video has kind of helped you to figure out some different challenges that psychology majors face and some ways that you can navigate your psychology major. If you'd like any more information or any help when it comes to study skills, organization, time management, be sure to check out the Center for Student Success and First Year Experience academic support programs. Thanks, guys.